cake. So recording is in progress. Once we get the music stopped, we will roll. That was a good chill music vibe this morning. Welcome us here. We've got some folks rolling in on Zoom and rolling in person. I'd call this meeting to order and do for those of you who already have a drink situated. Summer's trying to be here. It's June. Summer's trying to be here. Let's just launch that. All right, simmer down over in the refreshments there. Get your split club tickets and get signed in. Get your agenda. It's lovely. Those of you on Zoom, check the website for the agenda. All right. We have just a few more meetings in person right now, and it's looking like an exciting lineup for June. Take a look at your email. Eric sent out last night a very comprehensive schedule of upcoming plans for the club. I have, because it's now June, I have something separate from Toastmasters. I have Rubber Duck Race in Alcott Harbor. It's the 28th annual Rubber Duck Race this Sunday. So coming out and see 1,000 rubber duckies poured into the marina, and you win prizes if you want to buy a $5 ticket from me. The top prize is a cash prize of $500. And it supports the fireworks that are beautiful on July 3rd in Alcott. And I'll have a party at my house. So if you want to save the date for July 3rd, you can see the fireworks from my backyard, or you can walk to the park and watch them with the crowds. So I have these only today because the duck race, again, is this Sunday. This duck race fundraiser supports the Alcott Beach fireworks. And there's a bunch of gift certificates and baskets for other prizes. So please get those from me. We have in the space here, we have on Zoom, it looks like Phil and Eric and David Jones and Mike Licata. Jill is on Zoom and also here. She is fully hybrid today. Also in person, besides Jill and myself, are Steve, Carol, Maggie, Nancy, Sylvia, Darcy, Dave Licata, Joe, Jackie, Marty, Mike Florio, Mary, Mom Beth, Len, and Mark. Did I miss anyone? No. Looks like we have a great lineup for today. Any announcements that we have to make? Any announcements? Check your email for those announcements. And I would be happy to invite up now our Toastmaster of the day. I'm her general evaluator, so she doesn't have to invite me back up. I'll be evaluating the meeting, her and the evaluators later. She's very organized, so let's give a round of applause to Sylvia. Thank you.
Just a couple things before we start. Our speaker number 1 is going to be number 3. Jill will be 3 and Mike will be 1. We just moved him around. Mike has to leave early this morning. All right. I think we need to start with the pledge. How's that? Before I do anything else. Kate, you're spin. Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'm going to start with the toast before I go to our inspiration. May your day be filled with success, collaboration, and positive vibes. Cheers. Okay, Phil, do you have an inspiration for us? You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Now, how can you hear me? Okay, how is that?
Better.
All right. Still hear me?
You're here.
All right, perfect. All right. Now, nostalgic inspiration refers to the finding creative or motivating ideas by reflecting on past experiences or objects. It is a way to tap into the feelings and memories of past to fuel new ideas or perspectives. This can be done by revisiting old movies, music, or even just walking through a familiar neighborhood. Let us all have a day of reconnecting with our past, old memories to bring on new events that can inspire all of us. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Phil. Also, before we start, I want to ask people to please have a ballot slip. The slip. It has their table topics and our special speaker and evaluators, and plus these little notes on the side there. You could fill them out and give them to the speakers. They would appreciate the feedback. But if you were given a box today, or they call it, what do they call it? Time in a box. What would you fill your time in a box with? What is the history of this time of the box? Time capsule, as it also known. The term capsule itself is more recent. The history of a time capsule goes back farther. The idea of burying artifacts for discovery, for example, dated back, way back in Egypt's time. But the modern notion of a time capsule with the opening date merged in 19th century. According to Wikipedia, I knew I was going to mess that up. Wikipedia. This is a debate for the first time capsule, but the concept is fairly simple. The ideal could be older than the first document. The term time capsule appears to be used in the 1933. In Poland, the time capsule dated, there was a time capsule that was dated 1726 that was found. Around 1761, some dated artifacts were placed into a hollow copper grasshopper weather vane. The weather vane itself was dated back at 1742, and it is sitting on a historic Faneuil Hall in Boston. The time capsule dated back 1795 and credited to Samuel Adams and Paul Revere was temporarily removed in 2014 from a cobblestone of a Massachusetts state house in Boston. It was opened in 1855, and they added more new items to this time capsule before resealing. So what would you put into it? Everyone's time capsule would be different for sure. We're all different. We have different histories. It might be your favorite book, local newspaper, photos of yourself in high school, friends, family, holidays. And the thing is, you have to pick or decide, I should say, decide when you want this time capsule to be opened, reviewed by who and how. So my box, and it's not supposed to be a shoe box, it's supposed to be a metal box. My box has many, many different things in this box. So let me start. I'm not sure if Lockport ever done this, but in Niagara Falls, the baby pictures were in the newspaper. So here is mine. It has my name, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Henry Viverito, 2221 Niagara Avenue. Didn't put the date though. That was interesting. Okay, and then let's see if I could go kind of age-wise. My high school graduation picture. Then we have our family pet, Casey. He's the dog. We only really had one dog. My father did not want animals because he grew attached to them. Then we have our family picture. I have my wedding picture, has the whole family together. And if you look at these two at the end on standing up, they have a Miami Vice theme going on. So you know the era, 1987. I was married, my dad and I dancing. And we have my Bills ticket, because they are going to go to Super Bowl someday. I have some coins here. I won't take them out. I have one that's dated in 1962 when I was born, 2020 for COVID. I have also 2024, because 2025 coins have not circulated yet. I haven't seen any. So I should have gone to the bank, I know. And I have my mother's ring, which I'm not leaving to any daughter-in-laws because it would mean nothing to them. They can have their own. I have Topps newspaper, Marty, because we need to know what the prices are in 2025. I have today's newspaper. I went and picked it up on my way in. My other family picture, current vacation of all of us, and one of my husband and I. And of course, my cell phone. I'm going to leave my cell phone so they could get into my Facebook page, could see who my contacts were. So we have some sort of picture theme going on here. Okay. So I am going to start now with our roll holders. And I'm going to start with Joe. You're our WAG master. Could you please tell us the word of the day and the WAG job?
So I'll be monitoring the ums, ahs, pregnant pauses, and good and bad uses of the English language. And our word for today is nostalgia. That is a longing, a remembering or wanting of things that have been long past. So the word of the day is nostalgia. Thank you.
Steve Smith is our guest this morning. Steve?
Thank you. Looking up jokes about time capsules, how hard can that be? Believe it or not, I found some. Ready for this? Tomorrow, I'm going to open the time capsule that I buried as a kid. I can't wait to see how big my puppy got. What do you call a time capsule from World War II? A mine. I heard it. A mine. Why was the calendar nervous? His days were numbered. And you'll be happy to hear this. This is the last one. Thank you, Dave. What do you call a clock in a spaceship? A time capsule. Thank you.
Now we're going to have Mary with a quote. Where are you, Mary? There you are. Mary has a quote for us this morning.
A film is a time capsule. If you have a lack to neglect to dedicate or focus, it's permanently there as a positive reminder.
Our timer today is Darcy. She volunteered. Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. As timer, I'll be timing to make, to let the speakers know when their times are coming up. Speeches are 5 to 7 minutes with a 30-second buffer. Table topics are 1.5 to 2 minutes with a 15-second buffer. And evaluators are 2 to 3 minutes with a 30-second buffer. Is that correct? Okay, good. Madam Toastmaster.
Quizmaster Mike Licata, you're on Zoom this morning.
Good morning, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. My job this morning as Quizmaster to be making sure that everyone is paying attention and report back with a couple of questions at the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Going to ask Kate to come back as our general evaluator. You did all right? Great. All right. Well, then I'm going to start with Jackie with our table topics. Uh-oh. Is it there? Keep talking. There we go. Does it work now? Could everyone hear me? Oh. How's that? How's that? We're going to have Jackie come up and see if that works.
Testing 1, 2.
Sounds fine on our end.
Thank you, Len. Good morning, everyone. Nostalgia is the word of the day. Make sure you use it in your response. If I had a time-keeping box, it would probably be full of a lot of very nostalgic things. My baby picture would be kind of crispy and brown, and any bits of paper in there would probably be all charred, but the memories are the important part. And I'm going to call on a few people to come up and talk about their memories and what they would put in their box of keepsakes. So let's start with, let's hear from Nancy this morning. Nancy, do you have a job? Now you do. And I know you've got something to say to us about your memories because you have a lot of them.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Thinking back to 1976, we did bury a time capsule. I don't remember where, but I remember it was a bicentennial thing to do, and there was a group of us. Don't even know whether it was from the church, another group. I don't even remember who it was. No idea where this thing is. I remember a lot of nostalgic things going in there. We put in things that were important to us at the time. Do I know what was important to me at the time? No. But if I were to do it again, I would somehow keep a record of where it was, maybe on my phone, which I wouldn't be able to pull up wherever I put it. I wouldn't remember where I put it anyway. But I think what I would do is put in, my father had this clay tablet with cuneiform writing on it. And I think I would put that in there just to confuse people. I think, wow, I thought they were a little more progressive in 2025. I would probably put my journals in there because they can't offend anybody. By the time they open that capsule up, there's nobody left to offend. So it would feel like a safe place to bury them. I don't know what else I would put in, maybe the newspaper like Sylvia. But there would be a lot of little nostalgic things that nobody else would probably understand, but I would know that they were somewhere out there for someone to discover. And I would put a big X on the ground so that people could find it.
Nancy. Mine. All right. I know everybody here has a lot of memories that they would want to keep track of and share someday. And I know one of them is probably Eric, who just had a very memorable experience in his graduation. I love the picture of you in your graduation robes, Eric. So Eric, using the word nostalgia, how about sharing your time capsule contents with us? Eric. No, maybe not. All right, we'll move on then.
No, I'm right here.
All right, okay, you go, Eric.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
The question is, share the contents of your time capsule and your memories using the word nostalgia.
What do I have in my time capsule?
Yeah.
Well, all my running gear. Still have my yellow spikes from running shoes from cross country back in 2007, 2008. And I still believe they have the spikes in them. So I think that's very nostalgic memory I have, because for the past 6 seasons, I ran cross country for Lockport, enjoying being a the team manager, running modified races, then went up to JV and varsity. And I still got all the DVDs from the past sports banquets we had. And we really had some really great memories from cross country. I miss it every day. I'm planning on going back out to running this summer because I think that is a very stress reliever type of sport to do. Another piece of memorabilia that I'm going to be keeping, and hopefully it'll be a nostalgic way into the future, is my graduation from Canisius. I still got my cap that's at home. My gown is still in the back seat of my car, and all of my robes and the cords and everything. So, but I feel this will be a nostalgic way down the road into the future when I tell. Hopefully, if I had kids someday, I'll tell them this is what I wore when I graduated from Canisius and beyond. So, thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Eric, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
My time capsule would certainly have some items from Toastmasters, including this agenda from when our club was the entertainment at the district conference quite a few years ago. We did a glimpse into the history of Niagara County with various members playing notable people who appeared, including Daniel Washburn, the Marquis de Lafayette. And if you don't believe he looks like him, go to the History Center and see his portrait. Abraham Lincoln, Samuel Clemens, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Birdsall Holly, William Morgan, Theodore Roosevelt, and Joyce Carol Oates, all notables who passed through Niagara County at one time or another. I would have my patch from Girl Scouts, which was created and earned. And then there's our appearance in the 2010 parade in costume of all of those people. That was quite an event. We had a wonderful time. We had a semi-trailer truck with everybody riding on, and quite the day. So now I'm thinking that I'd like to hear from Beth Banks about her memorabilia that would be in her time capsule. Beth.
I will say the town of Newfane is doing another time capsule this year. I have not done what my mother did, so I have to get at it. My mother put a letter to her grandchildren that I have that was opened last fall that was dated October 23rd, 1976. So it would have been before any of her grandchildren were born. She wrote a letter to our dear grandchildren. Some interesting things from this letter. She wrote it at 7:30 a.m. The temperature was 26 degrees. And I thought after, wait a minute, 26 degrees and it's October 23rd. That was very cold for October. Keep in mind that October was the October before the blizzard of 77. By then I was pregnant with Kate, working, and sicker than a dog. Not fun. She put in all different kinds of things for her grandchildren to know, who her parents were, her grandparents, where they lived, where my father worked, what he did, what she did, that they had 2 cars. They took family vacations. She talked about their pastor. Who was the person who also married my husband and I. She talked about relatives, brothers, sisters, all that. So it's very interesting what she put in the letter. The nostalgia that comes from this is just amazing. So I'm sure Kate might add a little more. Thank you very much. This thing. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Beth. And Mr. Timer, Madam Timer, sorry. Madam Timer, can we have a report on how our contestants did?
Yes, you may. Nancy Ferry came in at 2 minutes and 3 seconds, so she qualifies. Eric came in at 1 minute 39 seconds, so he qualifies. Beth at 2 minutes 22 seconds. Does that qualify?
Yes, that's within the buffer.
I thought it was 1.5 to 2 with a 15-second buffer. So she went over the 2 minute 15 seconds. She does not qualify.
Thank you, madam. And our word of the day, how did our word of the day do? Joe?
Our word of the day did awesome. Jackie, you used it, and all 3 of our table topics used it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Madam Toastmaster, please take the podium, the lectern.
Okay. That was great. Even though you're over, Beth, it's still interesting. Couldn't wait to hear it. Glad Jackie called on you. I'm going to go to our speakers, and like I said earlier, I changed the schedule a little bit. Marty is our evaluator this morning. He is our first evaluator. He is evaluating Mike Florio. Marty?
Good morning, Sylvia, fellow Toastmasters, and Yang, nice to see you this morning. Welcome. Nice to see you in person. And everyone else as well. This morning, Mike is speaking from the Effective Coaching Pathway, Level 3, and the project is Focus on the Positive. That's the theme for his project. And the purpose is for him to practice being aware of his thoughts and feelings, as well as the impact of those on others. The time is 5 to 7 minutes. And I have the title. I will introduce Mike Florio. Across the pond, Mike Florio. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Marty, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests. Newest member. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you in person. To effectively communicate, we must realize that we are all different in the way we perceive the world, and use this understanding as a guide to our communication with others. That's what Tony Robbins said. Tony Robbins is a guru. He's kind of a self-help kind of guy. And as I was going through this focus on the positive, this unit, it talked about the world and how we perceive the world, and how sometimes our perception of what is going on in the world is really not as accurate as you might think it is. And when we went across the pond this year to go see Eric Clapton, I thought about my perceptions that I had of England before I ever went there. And I always thought, you know, the subway was a dangerous place. It was dirty. It was, you know, there were explosions in there or whatever. The people were rude. The food wasn't good. It really, in the times that we've gone there now, it's changed my perception. That I actually saw the reality of what it's like in England and London. And it's really a wonderful place. And we're not that far off of what we believe and what they believe. And they're actually very curious about Americans there. I mean, when we got off the plane in Heathrow, the first thing we did is we got on the tube. It's called the Tube. It's their subway. And clean, efficient. The people on there were so friendly. I saw a woman that was actually struggling to get on, and this gentleman got right up immediately out of his seat and let her sit down. There was it was very orderly. Everything's color coded. You really knew where you were going, and you could go anywhere in the city. And it's very rare that I don't drive somewhere when I live here, because we live in the suburbs and we have to drive really pretty much everywhere we go. There, it was like a luxury. For 5 days, I wasn't in a car. No one drove me. And believe me, you really don't want to drive in England, because you always have to look to the left, because that's where the car is going to hit you. They're driving on the other side of the road. I don't think I could do it, honestly. I saw them. I've never tried it. I think I might give it a go one day, but I'm fine with somebody else doing the driving over there. So we get to the concert, and it's kind of weird. The last time we went was actually 10 years ago. We went for Eric's 70th birthday. And now we thought we better go because he's 70 and he probably might not ever tour again. And now he's 80. And we're over there checking him out. And the guy did 4 shows. We went to 2 of them. And I'm still amazed that in the blink of an eye that much time has gone by, 10 years. And when we get there a little early. It's at Royal Albert Hall, which is really an amazing place. There's only about 5,000 people that go there. And we get there early and we're talking with people there, you know, and kind of getting to know people from the area, because as soon as we speak as Americans, we're done. They know, they just go, well, where are you from? Over in America, you know, in America. And we have to tell them, you know, that we're from New York. And then they immediately assume that we're from New York City. Immediately. And I go, well, you know, I'm about 700 miles away from New York City. I'm about as far away as you can get, but I'm still a New Yorker. And we met people there from Seattle, and it's kind of strange when you go somewhere far away and you meet someone even from Seattle and you're both Americans, you're like best of friends. Anyway, it's green already. I didn't think it was taking this much time. So anyway, they want to know more about us than we do about them, almost about the same. They want to know about retirement. They want to know about healthcare. They said, is it really true? Somebody told us it cost $100,000 for somebody who broke their leg. I go, it's not up there yet, you know, but it's approaching that sometimes for some people. Like I said, the person that told you that must have really busted up their leg, you know. So 100,000, you know, they get health care like Canada, kind of put in. So anyway, we're a lot closer than we thought. And then after that, we went to a football game because we said, well, we got to do something more than just tell everybody we went to a concert. So I had the perception again that, you know, these people are rowdy, and they say, don't make anybody mad, because, you know, they get in fights there and they kill referees. And I sat next to this guy. He had to be 6'4", 240 pounds. He didn't say anything at first, but then he was really polite. As soon as he heard me speak as an American, he goes, you know, hey, if there's anything you want to know about this whole thing, you know, just let me know and I'll teach you, or I'll let you know. And I go, wow, okay, this guy's actually pretty nice, and nobody's going to beat us up. But anyway, the name of the football team, because they call it football over there, are the Tottenham Hotspurs. Yes, thank you very much, Dave. He's got it. And by the end of it, we said, hey, my favorite football team is going to be the Spurs, and your favorite football team is going to be the Bills. So we you know, we're not as far off as you think, and get out there and go see other people. Madam Toastmaster.
Our second evaluator this morning is on Zoom, David Jones, and he is evaluating David Licata. Could you please introduce David Licata this morning?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Dave is speaking from Pathway Level, or Pathways Innovative Planning Level 3 Effective Body Language, 5 to 7 minutes, Madam Timer. Dave is being nostalgic because he's reverting back to when he started Toastmaster and did not properly fill out the speaker information. Therefore, he's going to surprise us with his title. So please welcome Dave Licata.
Of course, we never apologize. I just say that I did put my faith in a certain person that lives with me, Michael. And I thought you got the information. This speech is going to be about body language. It's 5 to 7 minutes, and it's to inspire and instruct the audience about body language. But first, I'm going to do a change of microphones. I thought they were in the drawer. Yes, that's fine. Wow.
No. Let's know when we start to that. I have to share with you. You said time capsules, and my time capsule would have this little tiny medal. And it's because I came in first place for the Diocese of Buffalo's essay contest about why we need more vocations. And my classmate in the very same class came in second. So for like 100 years, I thought I was the most incredible talent on earth. And then I realized that if I came in first and she came in second, that means that every other principal at a Catholic grade school in the Diocese of Buffalo forgot about the contest except my principal. All right. And then yeah, okay. Am I on? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our newest member, welcome. Now, I'm going to demonstrate that normally I get up here, and even with my long experience, I get white knuckles and I hold on to the lectern, and that's crazy, especially because of the subject matter of the speech today. So if you want to be concentrating on your body language, the first thing you're going to do is get out from behind here. Now I got to pay close attention that I'm in the shot. I studied that in college. I never done stay in the shot. All right. Here's what's going on. Very shortly, we're going to be handed a bushel of lemons. We're going to make a lot of lemonade because we're going to go 8 weeks on Zoom. We're not going to be in the room. And we all know every time we talk about a Zoom speaker, we have to point out to them that because they were on Zoom, they were limited in their gestures. So part of making this lemonade is you're going to figure out how to be on Zoom and make your gestures count and get some mileage out of the body language. So make a little promise to yourself. That's what we're going to do during this blackout of 8 weeks. So what we're going to do, we're going to open our toolkit. We're going to find a little pouch in the toolkit. It's going to say body language tool. So what's the first tool? Well, I would guess the first tool would be eye contact. Move that head around. Put your head on a swivel, because the message there is when you make eye contact with somebody in the audience, sorry. Okay. Oh, gee whiz, I'm sorry. So you're going to make eye contact. Let's get this done, because the purpose of giving a speech is to sell an idea and get your way. And if you want to enhance that and get some mileage out of it and make it more powerful, body language is not to be dismissed. I miss Dave Shannon because he took such delight every time he went American Sign on us.
want to. Here's a little tip. Watch Darcy and watch Maggie. Why? Because Maggie has a long history in the entertainment field as a storyteller, works in the films. She knows about body language. Well, Dave, why Darcy? Here's my pet story forever. Every time we go throughout our histories and we find out that, well, so-and-so's got the lead in a movie, but that he or she is a singer. I'm not sure they can act. Darcy, every singer's an actor. Which brings me back home to my point, which I am constantly pounding. Don't be afraid to be theatrical. Because we got to get our points across. So we have this little situation coming up for the summer, but we're going to use it to our advantage. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Our third evaluator is Carol Ann Halstead. She is going to evaluate Jill Rowley. Carol Ann.
Jill's goal today is creating effective visual aids. And the purpose of this project is for the member to practice selecting and using a variety of visual aids during the speech. Her title is It's Not Always Greener. Jill.
Okay. Okay, good. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Sorry for that big delay. I was all prepared and then, yeah. Okay. It's not always greener on the other side of the fence. Now, as many of you know, I grow a lot of hostas in my garden in Wilson. There are somewhere over 8,000 named registered varieties of hostas. That's a lot. I do not have a goal of getting all 8,000. For one thing, they aren't all commercially available. And for another thing, I don't have that kind of budget or space. But to put it bluntly, they aren't all green either. This is a green hosta, but it is a very, very dark green. It's called midnight oil. It may get even darker depending on what the shade conditions are.
Oops, there. This one is called the trophy wife. They have some interesting names. This one would be considered a chartreuse or a yellow gold hosta. Even within the different colors, there are varieties, a range of colors. This one is called Gigantosaurus. It's going to get a lot bigger when I get it around. And it's not as obvious now, but it has a coloring that's almost a blue when it starts growing in the spring. And the blue is a result of the wax. There's a wax on the surface of the leaf. And as the leaf melts, as the wax melts off in the summer, it gets greener. Yeah. So the shadier you have it, the more likely it is to stay blue longer. Now we get into variations. This one right here is called Blazing Saddles. I have a bunch of these in my garden. They're obviously quite a bit bigger. This is one I'm going to sell this year. And it has a white margin. Sometimes the white margins are yellow. Sometimes they're white. Sometimes they change as the season progresses. So who knows what they're going to do? This one right here is called Hot Kiss. It has a green margin. It's actually almost a blue margin. It's got a couple different colors in the center. It's got a band of white and some chartreuse. Then we got two other variations of coloring. This one is called a streak hosta. The variety is actually, well, this is a tough one. Undulata univitata. Univitata. That one doesn't have a pretty name, funny name. And then there's this one called Wild Cherry. It has what they call red petioles. And they're blooming. That's in my garden at home. See all the different varieties, colors. Oh, I didn't get the red. I didn't put the red petioles on there. Okay, the red petioles, they're breeding to make them go up all the way into the leaf. And there is now a variety called Bloodline, which is actually an almost red leaf. I have not bought that one yet, and Steve would not be happy if I did. His shock of look is on his face is saying, right, it's dropped down to $65 this year. Last year was $75. So maybe another 2 years. Okay, so how do you keep track of all these? Like I said, they get registered. And the registration process is not difficult, but very exacting. There's all kinds of, they would use the color wheel. And this is a hosta color wheel. And you would use all the little variations within that wheel to show what the colors are within your hosta and where on the hosta leaf they are. You measure how big the leaf is. You measure the veins of the leaf. You measure the size of the plant. There's a lot to it. And pictures too.
I myself do not keep, probably will not ever register a hosta because that requires hybridizing and that sort of thing. I do not use this doorstop as a reference. It is a doorstop. I keep my inventory of hostas in a book of list of currently available commercial hostas. And maybe someday you will be near my 1,000 varieties that I have now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. That was interesting. I've been seeing hospice on Facebook. There's some beautiful color ones, and I was always wondering if what they put in put in the dirt to make them change the colors, if they did chemicals. So I am going to ask Darcy to come back up with a timer's report.
Trying to be up here on time. I am happy to announce that all three speakers have qualified. Mike Florio with 7 minutes, 9 seconds, Dave Licata, 7 minutes, 10 seconds, and Jill Roaring, 7 minutes, 15 seconds. Congratulations.
So while you're going to cast your vote for speaker 1, 2, or 3, I'm going to take another box with a couple of items that we could do for our Toastmasters meeting. First of all, we would have to decide, when do we want this capsule to be opened? And I was just told we have 41 years anniversary. 40-year anniversary was last year. This is 41. Maybe we wanted to have someone open it from AM Lockport at the 75th anniversary or the 100th anniversary. I mean, that's up to the group to decide. So a couple things I threw in here, and this is donated. I will put it back into the cabinet, but we could put our coffee cup in here, put our best speaker ribbon, evaluator, tabletops ribbon. I will even if I lose, I'll donate my losing ticket. So everybody knows we do a 50-50 split. I'm going to put today's agenda in there with who spoke, who had jobs. And I'm going to take the sign-in sheet and put that in here. And if anyone else would like to donate, they're more than welcome. And now I'm going to call our evaluators to start the evaluation. Marty, come on up.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Sylvia, fellow members. And Mike, I know you had to leave. I'll make sure you get a copy of this and hopefully you'll be able to view this recorded meeting. Mike, you accomplished your goal. There were a couple things that I spoke with Mike before the meeting, and I said, Mike, what would you like to improve on from your last speech? And he said, no, using no notes and making time. Well, you used minimal notes and you made time. 7 minutes and 9 seconds was your actual time. So I feel that you did accomplish improving from your last speech. And just to remind everyone, the purpose of Mike's speech, his project, was to practice being aware of his thoughts and feelings. And I could have led into the speech when I introduced Mike about this, but in this specific project, some of you that may have completed it, the project wants you to record in a journal or a notebook your negative thoughts and feelings, and then what actually happened, and try to make those negative feelings and try to correct the negative feelings from something you perceived to the actual experience. So I was looking for that. I didn't hear you bring that to light. However, I could have done it in the introduction, and you could have done it in the body of your speech. I heard you mention that you perceived England to be different towards Americans. You thought when you go there, people may have had some negative things to say about Americans. I know you mentioned about people being from New York and the stereotypical thought of being, oh, you're from New York. But it turned out people were pleasant, you said. And you could have made note that you recorded that perceived thought and what the actual experience was. I was looking for that, and I think that's what the project wanted you to do, to compare your original thought, your perceived thought, and your actual experience. And I heard you mention that you learned from the experience, that your perception was definitely different than what you actually experienced. And the project also asked for me as the evaluator to listen to whether or not that you grew from this experience. And I feel that you did. And you excelled at describing the trip, the detail of the trip. You excelled at eye contact, and you were comfortable with the audience while you were presenting. A couple things to work on would be definitely, number one, hand gestures to further engage the audience and make your points. When you're talking about the football game, you can say about, rough and tough in football, or move around a little more. Hand gestures, and then to challenge yourself, share a specific mention of your journal. Mike, I look forward to your next speech. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you, Sylvia.
Our second evaluator, David Jones, and he's going to evaluate David Licata.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and thank you, Dave. Now, Dave, you and Phil both have an advantage over most speakers because as soon as you come up, your presence commands our attention. We automatically smile. I tend to giggle at your antics and what you're saying, so I'm already hooked with what you speak about. Now, you had great vocal variety and hand gestures, and that means you had good body language, which you met the criteria for your project. For instance, you were juicing the lemon. I thought that was good. And then you described to us that as we moved to Zoom over the summer, that's lemon to lemonade. So I think that's a view on your perspective of not being in person. I thought that was a good visual as well. Now you moved out from behind the lectern, that's always good. And you did that as an education for us on what we should do on Zoom. And you were very Zoom-ish. You're right inside the square, so you took up the whole space. And there were some technical issues. We probably heard about half of your speech. It was either very low or there was no volume, but I'm sure everything you said was wonderful, which brings me to my room for improvement. And as you know, Toastmasters 101, you should show up a little bit early and test your audio equipment to make sure it's all working. And second, your speech was kind of about eye contact. And I noticed you had good eye contact with the audience in person, but it seemed like you were purposely not looking at the camera. You would like glance by it, which I thought was interesting because that was your speech about doing eye contact on Zoom during the summer. I look forward to you doing the same type of speech on Zoom so we can kind of see what your hand gestures and make sure that we can see everything that you talked about during the speech. And with that, I will turn it back to our Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you. Our third evaluator, Carol Ann, is evaluating Jill, and Carol Ann is working her way up here. I know Careful, don't trip over my purse. I don't want you to fall. Carol Ann.
Jill's goal in this speech was to have visual aids, and we certainly had many of those. I think we were all amazed at her knowledge of hostas and the different varieties, and she certainly brought a lot of different things, and for her to be able to pretty much describe each one, and she just knows them so well, like children. She made good eye contact. Of course, she had to be looking at the plants quite a bit. She did have vocal variety. However, I think she's so knowledgeable that maybe she didn't, maybe she could have some stronger expressions about it when she's talking about it. But she did make us feel very interested in this subject that many of us who aren't into plants are very unfamiliar with. I had no idea of all these varieties. And she did have some humor thrown in. And I think, well, she wasn't quite prepped with the mic, but that's kind of some technical difficulties that can happen, which kind of delayed her starting. But she also had the feature of the actual plants, and then she had some slides to give us some more information. So it was, I think she accomplished her goal with the visuals. And other than the only improvement, maybe a little bit more stronger expressions, but it was a very interesting speech.
Thank you, Carol Ann. I'm going to ask Darcy to come up one more time with the timers report. Darcy?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I am happy to announce that all three evaluators are eligible for the ribbon. Marty Johnson, right on the nose, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. You were really close. David Jones, 1 minute, 58 seconds. And Carol Ann Halstead, 2 minutes, 41 seconds. Congratulations, Madam Toastmaster.
Now I'm going to ask, while you cast your vote, I'm going to ask our general evaluator to come back up and do the reports and see what Kate could give us some improvements and strengths today.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and to our evaluators especially. All three very strong evaluations today. I feel like we definitely had some technical difficulties. And you know, when you get cranky, when you go to the doctor's office and you can't get into your appointment on time, or you go to the salon and you can't get into your appointment on time, and it's because people earlier than you were late and late and late and late. I know that Jill was ready. She came early. She was prepared. Gentle reminder, though, our tech team does need PowerPoints by Monday. So she handled her own today, and it worked out. That was a lot to juggle. But David come earlier and then you can get your mic situated, because then that made the next, that kind of threw off. And because Jill is so skilled, she could shake that off. That is a challenge for especially new members. So being prepared in advance with the tech team and letting them know, okay, I'm doing a body language speech or whatever it is that I have to showcase things. Let's let them know early by an email or a phone call or a text. And then they know and show up even early. They're here at like, oh my gosh, you're here at the sunrise and they're here early. We could also be here early. I know this is somewhat the pot calling the kettle black because I'm not always as prepared. It's something we all can improve upon. I thought for the evaluators, let's go in order. Marty, strong voice, best use of the microphone today. It was an excellent suggestion. Watch the timer, obviously. You just made it. David Jones, so upbeat. He reminds us, like David Licata reminded us today, how much we can do this summer in our little Zoom boxes and practicing with tech and making those contacts. Thank you, David Jones. You gave a specific recap. And this is an excellent reminder you gave us about eye contact, and it made me think of Phil Russell. I don't know if he's still on or observing, but reminder for folks, the camera is that thing above the device. So when you're making eye contact to Zoom folks at home, you're making eye contact into that camera. Start paying attention for all summer on whatever devices you're using for Zoom, where your camera is, so you can be mindful of that. And Phil Russell, early on in our Zoom years, was the best reminder, giving us the best reminders of making eye contact and focusing on that. Carol Ann, excellent suggestions and rolling with all the positives and the tools that Jill has in her toolbox, and then juggling. And again, I don't think that your technical difficulties were as much as a cause of timing and having to get everything shuffled. I will remind everybody to be gentle with these devices and plan what we wear, because belt buckles and sweaters and things can knock into the microphone, and this heavy doorstop book, bam, hit the microphone, and that's what caused some of the feedback. We also can't get too close to the speakers, but if you're willing to learn those techniques or have questions about those techniques, it's not just, it's the devices. It's often the people. It's often us. I remember someone gently telling me, you know where computer issues often are located? Computer issues are between the keyboard and the chair. That's where most computer issues are, between the keyboard and the chair, and it's usually us having issues. So it's good to be mindful of those things. I love the theme. I love your organization. I love the plans. So it's our 41st year. I think we should compile things. Anybody who wants to bring things next week, like me, because I did not bring any items today, but I'd love to share. Let's save them for our 50th, open them at the 50th party, and then close them back up and give them to Eric or whoever the youngest member is. Hopefully they can then keep it for the 75th or whatever the plans might be in the future. We love the nostalgia. One last final pitch for my duck race tickets. Those of you on Zoom, I take Venmo, I take PayPal, $5 tickets for the Alcott Beach duck race. All the ducks get dumped in the bay and they get pushed to the front, and whoever's numbers get picked get the biggest prizes. And that supports the fireworks again on July 3rd. Officer training is this Saturday. I'm so excited, those of you who are going. And if you can't go in person, Zoom next Tuesday. That's what I will be doing. I have nothing else to share. I would love to I could do reports if you want me. Yes, I'm getting the nod to do the reports. I have... For our first report, let's call up on Zoom. Mike Licata is our quizmaster. Are you ready, Mike Licata? He looks to be.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters. A couple of questions this morning. Let's see who's paying attention. Name one thing Eric would have in his time capsule.
Sneaker.
One thing sneakers. I'll take running gear. And who did Mike Florio go to see when he crossed the pond?
Eric Clapton.
Thank you.
The football game. The Spurs.
And yes, what do they call the subway in London?
A tube, everyone said resoundingly.
Can you name a type of pasta that Jill brought in this morning?
Kissing lips. It looked like lips. Cherry
Yes, many different names. Trophy wife, blazing
Blazing
saddles.
Saddles, Trophy Wife. Those look like lips. Nancy had
Yeah,
to tell me that.
that
I'm
works.
stupid, but I didn't realize it. It was like inverted. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
You're fine. And finally, how many different varieties of hostas does Jill have at her garden? In her
1,000.
1,000. Thank you, Dr. Stevens. And that is my quiz this morning. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mike. How about our WAG master? Am I missing anybody, or we can wrap up with our WAG master? Perfect. Joe is on his way up. Joe.
Well, Nostalgia did pretty good. I heard it a couple times after it was done. Couple Darcy I counted 2, Mike Florio 1, Carol Ann quite a few. I counted like about 5 you made. However, all of our speakers really did a good job, very well spoken, very eloquent. Couple times I caught going, kinda, gonna. But other than that, everyone did very, very well. Enjoyed everyone's speech and everyone's talk. Good job, and everyone please have a good day. And keep that nostalgia up. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. And I'll welcome back our Toastmaster of the day. And I'm the officer closing out the meeting. She has our winners. I don't know if you want to.
Our table topics winner this morning is Nancy Ferry. Nancy.
Ribbon for you.
Like ribbons. Our best evaluator, David Jones, will mail it to you.
He's been waiting for packages.
And our best speaker, who's not here right now, is Mike Florio. And oh, there she is. Beth is coming up with the.
You want to have Nancy draw? Or...
Nancy will draw that she is here for the winning. The last 3 numbers is 296. Oh, 2960.
It's Steve.
Yay, Steve. He's our winner. Told you I had a losing ticket, so I already donated that back to Toastmasters. That is it for our meeting. Call the end. It is 8:20.